G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this new series that I'm calling Chasing Glory the Grind, I'm going to be sharing what I'm doing to work on my game, and in this first episode, I'm going to be sharing with you how I work on my wedges. Recently with my game, my distance wedges have become quite sloppy and I haven't been hitting it as close as I'd like to the actual pins inside 100 yards. So in this episode, I'm really going to dedicate and I'm going to go through my practice session and show you guys everything that I go through to actually work on my distance wedges. I do have, as a lot of people know, my wedge matrix, and I do this all the way down to, 8 iron. I base my wedge matrix on a left arm parallel, a 3/4 swing and a 3/4 plus swing. Some people use a clock system. Mine's very similar, but I have it more loosely based on feel, I guess, as opposed to like positions. With my left arm parallel, I am trying to get my left arm parallel to the ground, but that's just a feel. Ultimately, what you'll probably find is if you try and do left arm parallel, you'll end up going a little bit further back. So, right, without further ado, I'm not going to really edit this much because I want you guys to get the full experience of what I go through. And yeah, let's just get started. So, distance wedges. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the GS Pro practice facility, and I'm going to go to the custom range. I'll show you guys when it loads. So we're going to head over to the dynamic holes is what it's called. And I'm going to go to builder because I want to actually set this to a specific distance. And I'm going to start working on wedge shots and have them very structured. And then I'm going to start doing a dynamic practice where I basically tell the system, give me a random number, and then I'll start trying to really dial in and actually compete with myself. But so for this first part of my practice session, I guess what I'm doing is doing a very structured technical piece. And to help me do that, I'm actually using the DeWiz watch again. I haven't had this out for a long time, but I'm going to be using the DeWiz watch to really do a technical portion of my practice, and then I'm going to take it off and I'm just going to be dynamic and I'm just going to be hitting shots. So the first shot that I want to practice is going to be a 30-yard shot, and I'll make this about 34 because I do expect the ball to be rolling out. Whenever I practice these types of shots, what I will say is I always work on carry yardages. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm not worried about the actual total distance as much. The software is going to be, take part of that. What I'm focused on is the actual carry yardage. So if I make it about 35 yards, the aim with these is to carry at 30 yards. How do I do that? Well, I know with my DeWiz watch, I have to make a 69 centimeter swing to actually achieve a 30-yard shot if my tempo is correct. This is not a sponsored ad for the DeWiz watch as well. DeWiz was kind enough to send me one of these like a year ago. And yeah, look, this is not sponsored whatsoever. It's just a tool that I use to help me with my practice. All right, so we've got the Pro T set up. And like I said, these ones, I want a 69 centimeter length swing. And I'm going to get immediate feedback from the DeWiz, and it should tell me if I'm close to that. Okay, so that one went 38 yards carry. I swung at 79 centimeters. So that just shows you how bad my feels have become. So let's try and swing it 69 centimeters. And again, I'm just going to go on my feel, which should be about right there. So that again, 77. So it's way long. I'm just swinging it way too long. So I need to really dial back my swing length. We are almost 10 centimeters too long. Okay. 70. So 70 centimeters, and that's carried 31.5 yards. That's my feel. So that is my feel. So that just shows you how far out of whack my wedge swings have become. So let's try and get that feel really ingrained. And it does feel like a shorter swing for me. .70 again, and that's perfect. So it's not a tempo issue for me. It is a swing length issue. 71. Look at those 3 golf balls. I mean, they're literally, I could throw a hat over them. They're that close. I did aim this a bit right, thinking it was going to feed right on the green. I'm just going to take dead aim at the pin. So, right there, I've kind of figured out my little carry yardage for these 30-yard shots with my lob wedge. And all it was swing length. 65 centimeter backswing. It's carried 28 yards, so pretty close. It's certainly better than going 8 yards too long. All right, let's really dial this length down. .65 again, and you can see it's carried 28.9. We'll go again. .70, and we've almost flown it in the hole. So a little bit long, which that shows me potentially tempo was a bit quick because it carried 34. My swing length was within a centimeter. So really, I think their tempo was potentially a little bit quick. .68, carried 29.4 yards. So I'm happy. I think I've figured out, just in that really short amount of time, by having that feedback, I think I've figured out my swing length for these 30-yard shots again. So I've just got to get that feel and not try and be influenced to swing it too long. 72. So tempo would have been a bit slower there. Swing length a little bit longer. Come on, let's get 69 perfectly. 75, so that means, I mean, it's carried 33, so 3 yards too long, so potentially tempo was good, and swing length was maybe a bit long. .72 again, pretty perfect for distance. So I'm happy. I've figured out my swing length again for those 30-yard shots, which is really important for me because now I can adjust that. So if I've got, say, a 15-yard shot that I need to hit, I know my swing length for my 30-yard shots is roughly there. So for my 15, it's going to be a little bit shorter. So we can adjust on the fly and we can hit little, you know, that was 13 yards, but we can start using all these swing lengths as reference points for other shots. So 30 yards is like my first reference point. Okay, let's move back. I'm going to hit some 67-yard carry shots now. And to do that, I need to have a 99 centimeter backswing. So I'm going to put the target at 70. And like I said, the intent with these ones is to carry them 67 yards. And I'm going to need a 100 centimeter backswing, or 99 centimeter backswing. Which again, I'm not thinking about that in my head. I'm just thinking left arm parallel. Might be long. 97. Okay, so that shot then, pretty good for swing length. Tempo was really slow then. I've definitely slowed down through impact there because that's gone way short. It's almost, what, it's nine yards short of my intended carry distance. Perfect. 99 centimeter backswing. We've had 64.5 yards carry. So we're close. We are close. Swing length is perfect. Tempo might have been a bit slow, or potentially contact was not perfect. .98, we've carried it 67.7. That's perfect. Really happy with that shot. So these shots for me really have to be my bread and butter if I want to be that world number one. .98 again, and you can see 66 yards carry. Now, I am doing this, block practice, if you want to call it that. However, I don't want to do too much of this because once you've kind of got a feel for the swing length, you've got a feel for your tempo, if you do it more and more, realistically, it's not going to be that good to improve. Yes, it's good. It's good to do block practice, especially if you're a beginner. But for me, as soon as I have my feels dialed, so you saw with the 30-yard shots, it was maybe 10. With this shot, I've pretty much got this dialed now. Anything from now, really, I'm not going to be getting a lot out of it because I've already grooved. I've already, assessed where I need to swing it to and how hard. So my body's very good at getting that feel. This is where, for someone like me, doing more dynamic practice where we're having randomized shots, every single shot, I'm really going to get a lot from that. But today, I'm focusing on my swing lengths. And I'm going to do this just with my lob wedge. I have these same swing lengths and feels all the way up through to 8-iron. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do it swing lengths and tempo with the lob wedge. And then I'm going to just go to the randomizer and I'm just going to practice random distances and we're going to go all the way up to 116 yards. That's the plan. So I've almost got this swing length and tempo dialed only in a couple of shots. So realistically, I'll do a couple more, but I'm pretty happy. This is a stock standard shot for me. Swing length perfect. I just got a little bit aggressive through impact, and that's why we flew at 72. Oh, I duffed it. Swing length was perfect. I'm going to say tempo was perfect, just contact was just wrong. So those shots there, I'm really happy. I have that dialed, like zero issues. Let's move back now. We're going to move back to my next carry yardage is 85 yards. And this is an 111 centimeter swing. Like I said, this video is not sponsored. I don't care, or like I'm not fussed if you guys go and buy a DeWiz. I think they're an incredible product. And I think the feedback you get from this, it allows me to just be really efficient with my practice. I mean, I've hit 5 shots and I've recalibrated my swing. So it's a really efficient way to practice. You're getting instant feedback, but at the end of the day, you can do it without it. It's just, you're always going to be questioning, hey, was it swing length or was it tempo or was it contact, or it's going to make it a lot harder. All right, 111 centimeter swing now, little 3/4 lob wedge. Okay, so that one flew 90, 109 for a swing length. So that tells me tempo was a little bit quick because my swing length, I mean, we're talking 2 centimeters, right? Which is pretty close, but you can see I've flown it a little bit too fast. So let's try and dial back the tempo just a little bit. .110, and again, we've flown it 5 yards, or no, 5 yards too far. So we're going for 85. So tempo, potentially a little bit quick. So we'll try and dial it back, be a bit smoother. Okay, 108 centimeters. Oh, a perfect shot, 85.5 for carry. So that one there was a lot better. So already we're swinging it shorter, and we've figured out that the issue really with these shots is tempo at the moment. Oh, so again, 107 centimeters, which is technically short for my old calibrated swing length, but you can see the carry there, 84.7. We're pretty dialed. So potentially on these shots, my tempo's increased and my swing length has kind of gotten a little bit shorter. So again, 107, carry distance 83.9. I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm thinking now is I'm just going to update my swing length. $108. Carry distance is almost perfect. We're a yard short. We'll do one more. $111. So there we go. We've had our 111. We've carried that 85.9. So I was definitely a little bit smoother in transition. But I mean, overall, I'm quite happy with these shots. $111. It's carried 89. So yeah, potentially, I might update my sheet to say 108. I think 108 for a swing length on those ones is perfect. Okay, the final shot is my 3/4 plus shot. This should carry 92. So I'm going to make the overall distance 95. And we'll just do, well, it says 116 centimeters of swing length. So how I regulate this shot is I'll just stand a little bit wider and I'll just do that same 3/4 feel. And that wider stance allows me to swing it just a little bit harder. So I'm not really changing the feel of my swing. I'm regulating how hard I can swing by my stance width. So that one there, 112. So we were going for 116, I believe. Yeah, so I think my swing over time has just developed to be a little bit more compact and a little bit quicker. So stance width just a little bit wider. $113, it's carried 93.4, and it's a beautiful shot. So yeah, it's funny, you can see the trend of my 3/4 shots. The swing's gotten a little bit shorter, but a little bit more punchy, which I don't mind. $115, that's going to go in. Spin. It's a lovely shot. A little bit long in the carry, so I am getting quite aggressive through the swing. We'll just dial it back slightly. That was a better swing. So 90 yards carry. Okay, I'm happy. That is the first bit of my practice session complete. That's kind of the block practice. So now I'm going to leave the DeWiz watch on, but I'm going to go into more of a dynamic practice. So I'm going to go into the randomizer, and I'm going to say do not change the tee height. And I'm going to set my distances from 41 yards down to 116. Okay, the first shot we have is a 90-yard shot. And the pin is tucked back left. So realistically, to get this close, I'm going to have to use my lob wedge. And I'm going to be trying to hit my 3/4 plus shot. We've just got to be careful not to fly this too far. So 3/4 plus, wide stance. This is my 92-yard carry. That carried 86, and we had a 111 length backswing. So the backswing length was, I mean, funnily enough, that was my 3/4 swing, my old 3/4 swing. So it's not bad. I mean, it was 86 yards. I probably swung it a little bit short, and that's why we had our carry distance at 86. Okay, next up is 49. And I am going to start practicing with some other wedges as soon as a shot becomes appropriate to do so. This again is going to be a lob wedge. So we got 49. We want to carry this about, I'm going to say 43 as a carry. So I know where my 30-yard one was, so I'm going to take it a little bit further. That's gone way long. Oh, that was bad. So 53 as a carry distance, and we've had 87 as a swing length. So, I mean, swing length, 87 compared to 97 or 99. It's just 10 centimeters. So, yeah, it was just a little bit long in the swing length. Okay, next is 98. So 98 yards, it's close to 100. We're 2 yards uphill. So I'm just going to hit a 100-yard shot, which is actually my sand wedge. And this is my 3/4 sand wedge. So we want swing length to be about 108 is what we figured out. So we want a 108 swing length, and this is just going to be a 100-yard carry, which should land on the flagstick. That's interesting, 115 centimeters. My carry was 100. So that means I've severely changed my tempo between my lob wedge and my sand wedge. That's interesting. That is actually really interesting. Yeah, that is wild. Just shows you, like, between clubs, it can be very different. Okay, this shot is going to be a lob wedge. We've got a tucked pin. We're doing a 3/4 plus shot, so we need about a 112 swing length, and this should be perfect. But all I'm thinking is 3/4 plus. I'm thinking about the yardage. $112, spin, and that is perfect. Really happy with that shot. Okay, next we've got 67, which this has a 67-yard carry shot. So this really should be my bread and butter. You can see though, the pin is tucked. And so I'm really going to need to hit a clean shot. And realistically, it's probably going to land pin high and then roll past the pin. But we're going for 67. I've chickened out and I flew at 70 yards, so a little bit long. Looking at the swing length, 100 centimeters. So yep, that is slightly long. Maybe tempo was a bit quick as well, but that shot there, I was so scared to not put it in the water. So I'm happy, like if you're gonna err on the side of caution, go a little bit long. Okay, the next shot we have is a 77-yard shot. This is a tough one for me. This yardage is always tough. So it's right in between with a lob wedge. We've got right in between my 67 and my 3/4. So we want to be about there. This is a tough shot. We'll try and land at about 73. $75.6 yards. That is a great shot. Okay, 82 now. All these pins are tucked. So I'm thinking I'm not really getting a good workout for my sand and my gap wedge. So, I mean, look, we could try. This shot calls for a lob wedge because it's a tucked pin. So we'll keep going, and then we might end up changing our practice in a little bit to try and incorporate more of the sand wedge and gap wedge. So 82, I'm just going to do a 3/4 shot, which is an 85-yard shot. And that's a little bit long. So that one there, 110 as a swing length, and we worked out that 3/4 shot needed to be more like 108, so slightly long in the swing length. All right, we've finally got a shot. We can use our 56. So this is 83 yards to the pin. With my sand wedge, I've got a shot that goes 83.5. So I'm just going to try and hit this 83.5. It might go a little bit long, but I really want to see if I can execute this 83-yard carry shot. So for me, this is a 56 degree, and we are left arm parallel, and this should carry 83 yards. Cool, and that's carried 84.7, which is perfect. I'm really happy with that. Swing length, 101. The swing length we were trying to achieve was 99, and so that one there, everything checks out. I've swung it a little bit long, and I've carried it a little bit too far, so really happy. We've got another 83-yard shot. Let me see if I can try and do this with a gap wedge. Gap wedge is 91.5, so it's going to be a bit long. So we'll just hit the sand wedge again. We're essentially going to do the same swing we just did. A little bit long. Yeah, a little bit long. So 104 for the swing length. Carry distance is 87.4. Okay, let's change it up. Let's go to builder because I'm not getting the distances I want. So I'm going to build this for a gap wedge now. So I'm going to make the distance at 97. And because I'm coming in with my 52 now, the trajectory, the VLA is going to be a lot lower and it's going to have a lot less spin. So we're going to grab our 52. And this is a left arm parallel shot again. So we want that 99 centimeter swing length. And this should carry, ideally, 91.5 yards. Just got to hit that checkpoint. Okay, 104, so I swung it quite long, but I must have been slow because that only carried 87.7. So we'll try that one again. We'll do one more. And we'll try go a little bit quicker and a little bit shorter. .98, it's carried 94 yards. And look, I'm quite happy with that shot. It must have just been a little bit quick with the tempo, but overall happy with that shot. Let's change it up again. We don't want to be doing these shots too, you know, we don't want to do the same shot more than 2 times in a row because it's just not really good practice. The next shot I'm going to hit is 112 yards as a carry. So we'll hit it to this flag, 116. Now this one is going to be the 108 swing length. And we should carry this with the 52, 112. Okay, 112, so a little bit long. Perfect in terms of carry distance. We were a yard short. So back to swinging a little bit longer and smoother. We'll go again. We'll do one more of those. A little bit long and a little bit long for the carry distance. So 115 yards carry, and we swung that one 114. So that's quite significantly longer than we should be. Okay, let's now go to our 116 yard carry, which funnily enough is pretty much the shot we just hit. So I'll put this out to about 119. And now we're going to try and get that 112, 113 swing length again. And this should carry 116 yards. So to do this, I'm just standing slightly wider. Oh, carried it way too far. So that carried 119.7. So we've carried it 3 yards too far. We want to dial it back. Let's try and get that 116 yard carry. We've gone 113 yards carry now. Okay, come on, let's try and get it. Get this feel down. This is where strike becomes very important as well, not just the swing length and tempo. Perfect. 116 yards carry. Swing length was 115, so happy with that. Everything checks out. That was a perfect execution. Okay, that is kind of what I'll go through when I'm really doing a dedicated wedge session. What is amazing now is that we have launch monitors and devices where you can get instant feedback. And having instant feedback from a launch monitor, you know, you're trying to execute a shot, you hit the shot, having that instant feedback is so valuable. Throw into it something like this that gives you swing length and tempo. And I mean, really, you can get a really quality session in 32 minutes. I've been filming this video. The raw edit right now is 32 minutes, and I feel like I've had a really, really solid, dedicated wedge session that, look, realistically, that's probably all I need. I'm at the point now where I haven't done a wedge session like this for months. And so I'm back really trying to dedicate myself working on my game. And that's why I'm starting this series so I can kind of document what I practice. And yeah, that's kind of a wedge session for me. It doesn't have to be long. Half an hour, as long as you have something that's going to give you instant feedback where you can get feels and go, okay, that was because of swing length, that was because of tempo, that was because of strike, or whatever it is. Having the feedback loop there is so valuable. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you enjoyed this video, definitely let me know. If you want to see more videos like this where I'm working on my game, then definitely let me know in that comment section, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.